Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing your April 2020 monthly horoscopes. I hope everybody is doing well. I'm not going to do it by each zodiac sign. I'm going to break it down by your elements. So I'm starting with my water signs for April. This is going to be for Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. So if you're a water sign, this is Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Right now, the energy that I'm seeing for April is that it's almost like a lot of you are going through a journey. A lot of you are feeling kind of isolated. A lot of you are maybe quarantined, social distancing in your house. You're getting your makeup glam on. You're putting on your clothes, or you're going through your closet, organizing things. And then you're also looking at your stuff and you're like, girl, when am I going to be able to wear this new, blouse that I bought or this new pair of shoes, these Air Jordans or these Nikes that I got sitting in the closet? When am I going to go? I miss dressing up. A lot of you are going to be going through some withdrawals, so to speak, social withdrawals, I should say, this month completely. I also feel like there is a level of darkness that may, kind of come into your life. And I'm talking about, when I talk about darkness, I mean kind of like you dealing with the gravity of things, for those of you that are unemployed, for those of you that are right now are laid off or temporarily not working and there's no income coming in, or if is an income, it's just a very, a lot of you are dealing with those darker situations and those darker feelings, and it's uncomfortable, and it has a lot of you on edge. And so moods are going to be kind of a little at the beginning of the month until relief comes in, maybe at the last of the month. From the stimulus or whatever, there's going to be some glimmer of hope here. I also feel like, a lot of you are kind of, looking at a distance right now. A lot of this has, caused you, this whole world, what we're going through has caused you to self-reflect, do a lot of writing, journaling for some of you, getting, reading poetry, listening to music, basically things that stimulate your intellectualism and your spiritual higher self as well. There's a lot of focus on a relationship where you may be seeing things a little bit more clearly, maybe wanting to be a little bit more aggressive. Your partner and you could be having issues at the moment. When people are together for prolonged periods of time, it's not necessarily the best thing, even if you're soulmates. Let's just keep it real. If you have a brother and sister, sometimes, siblings, they can irritate one another. The same thing happens in relationships as well. And I do feel like a lot of you are going to be turning either to your tarot cards, your oracle cards, turning to moi or somebody else that you have as a personal psychic for insight this month of April. I feel like there's a lot of you that are going to be wanting messages, getting clarity, needing some clarity to feel like you can function. And then I feel like a lot of you are going to be kind of like burning the old out, like getting rid of the old to make way for the new, as we end the month going into and preparing to go into May. There's a lot of kind of like a reformation in some ways, a restoration, reformation, rebirth, all the R's. That's what a lot of you that are the water signs, are going to be going through the month of April. So this is your forecast for those three signs, again, for Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. And now we're going to go on to our earth signs. All right, guys, if you are my fire signs out there, again, my earth signs. If you're my earth signs, you're a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. If you're a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, this is your horoscope for April 2020. Basically, I see a lot of you standing in your divine feminine power. I feel like there is a lot of, you've used your time wisely, especially if you've been in isolation. You've done a lot of the stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to do. I also feel like a lot of you are tapping into things, and your intuition is very much on peak. It's on point. A lot of you are being able to see things a little bit more clearly without any guidance from anyone other than your spirit guides, your angels, your own psychic abilities. there's a lot of things that are coming and becoming very clear. You could be going through a point where you're seeing maybe your landlord wanting that rent, wanting that money, and it's scary, and it's going to bring about these emotions that I kind of saw with the water signs earlier. When I was doing these horoscopes for the water signs, I feel like the same thing for my earth signs out there. Y'all are one of the most grounded and positive signs out there, and it's all about work for you guys, but there's also some level of uncertainty for some of you. I also feel like a lot of you are looking back at situations, and you can feel that there is a glimmer of hope for the future. You can feel that there is something on the horizon that is going to be different, and you kind of are looking forward to the changes that are coming in. But a part of you is like the mermaid. A lot of you are like the mermaid, where you feel very connected to the elements, specifically water, even though you're an earth sign. A lot of you may be looking for love, and this whole time with quarantine isolation has made you really reevaluate a lot of your checkpoints, or checklist that you may have that may be a little, what's the word I'm looking for, a little unreasonable, or that is just too high maintenance or whatever. And I feel like for a lot of you, it's like kind of like sitting alone has you feeling like you lost a love, or you've lost out on a certain period of your life, and it's hard to not to kind of look back and feel like, God, what was I thinking, or beat yourself up on this. But Spirit is wanting you to stay positive. There is some heartbreak with these thoughts. Some of you may be going through this rough period and breaking up with your partner instead of being close together. Not just because when there's a national crisis, it does not always mean that people are going to stay together, and this is going to be a very positive situation. There are going to be times when we are tested and we are tried, for what we have to do. And so, I see change coming. I feel like by the time that the month of April leaves, a lot of us are going to be going back to jobs, probably around that time. In waves. It may not be like the whole world or the whole, United States, but it will be areas that will slowly be trickling back into work by the end of April. I also feel like, through this whole time that a lot of people are going to be planning trips for May. Trips to go places and things, kind of going out of town, maybe visiting a family member that you haven't been able to visit due to traveling restrictions or being quarantined, etc. And I also feel like a lot of you will come out of this at the end of April, going into May, feeling like your hands are tied, feeling like you can't make a move because financially either you are suffering or you just kind of cannot get out of the funk that you've been feeling, feeling helpless. Like this whole situation with the quarantine has a lot of you earth signs feeling helpless on many levels. But I am here to tell you that what from Spirit's perspective is that you'll come out of this a lot more positive and clear, with a clear message for yourself. So try not to get drawn into the cycle of negativity if you're an earth sign. And that was the horoscope for my earth signs out there. So now I'm going to get into the fire signs. All right, so now we're going to do our fire signs. If you are an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius, once again, an Aries, a Leo, or Sagittarius, this is your horoscope for the month of April 2020. All right, so what I see for the month of April, if you are a fire sign, is that there's a lot of changes that are coming, big changes. A lot of this could be around your job, your finances, your living situations. There's a lot that is unknown. A lot of it could be scary, but Spirit is asking you to take a very positive approach when dealing with these issues, because you are entering an end of a cycle and a beginning of a new cycle. There's a lot of communication with people from your past this month, which is very odd. And I only say that it's odd because it's not typical, for a lot of fire signs to really kind of rekindle relationships of the past or past people from their past, but there's a lot of reaching out, a lot of communication happening. A lot of you feel like your hands are tied if you are a fire sign this month, but it's more of a mental situation, a more of a spiritual, mental type of situation on how you view things. Again, our ways of seeing things can sometimes create an entrapment, kind of like shackles, and you feel kind of like you cannot move, like you're surrounded, you are basically quarantined, like we are now, for a lot of us that are in our homes. A lot of you are divine feminines out there that are fire signs um, are seeking the meaning of life, are seeking to go out. They are dealing with some depression. They're dealing with a lot of mood swings, not necessarily liking the fact that that they're having to um, nurture and be there for everybody as a pillar of support, but where does their nurturing come from? Who is doing for them? So it's very important, if you are surrounded by like a mother figure, a sister, your mom, somebody that is a pillar of support and that has been helping you through the situation, that you also have their back, and let them know, if you're a fire sign, that that they are very important to you. On many levels, I feel like a lot of you are going to be feeling like maybe judged by other people in your family, some friends, feeling almost like that people are like pointing their finger or being very nasty towards you. And I feel like everybody's going through their own demons or going through their own problems, and so Spirit doesn't want you to take a lot of things personally, because this month has your emotions very much on edge, and a lot of you can fall easily into that negative mindset and not be able to break free from that. But there's a lot of positivity coming as we get into the end of the month. Also, the divine masculine rises up at the end of the month for a lot of these fire signs. So a lot of you fire signs that operate more out of your divine masculine, whether you're a male or a female. A lot of you are going to be coming into some money, or very focused on new jobs, or going back to your job as we start. A lot of the population around the world starts going back to work and school potentially, where it applies. But for those of you that have used your time to plan out, maybe the next couple of months, and that have like ideas to start businesses, things of that nature, there's a lot of that's coming full circle and coming to fruition if you are a fire sign. So this is your horoscope for the month of April. I hope you enjoyed it, and now we're going to go on to our air signs. All right, guys, and if you are an air sign, this is your horoscope. This is for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. If you're a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, this is your horoscope for April 2020. So as we get into the month of April, I do see that a lot of us air signs are going to be dealing with a mirrored self. Basically, people that are in our life, friends, family, that are kind of like kindred souls or connected in some way. There's a lot of mirroring going on. Like, you could be going through a situation, and your best friend is also going through a similar situation, and it's almost eerie how the same that these situations are, and it's like a duality. It's almost like looking at yourself in the mirror, and there's another person that looks just like you, etc., like a doppelganger in many ways. So I see that through this whole mirroring, that there's a lot of support coming in. It's like a lot of us air signs are going through a purging, through a purity, through a purification on many levels. The purification is more of our mind and our souls. And then I see a lot of the divine feminine being, kind of more chill, more relaxed. Whether you're a male or a female, operating out of your divine feminine this month in particular, there's a lot of you that are going to be kind of approaching, if you're an air sign, situations or difficult situations from a very level-headed, logical, and calm situation, perspective and way of thinking, which is not necessarily the normal for air signs, since we tend to live in our minds into the mental processes of communication and things of that nature. We tend to run circles around people, you would say, you would think that, we're going to be a little frazzled and maybe nervous and going through anxiety, but I feel like that's not how it's going to be through the month of April. If you're an air sign, I see a lot more calmness, which is again a rarity for me, as a Gemini, an air sign as well for myself. But I do feel like we're going to be more grounded. I also feel like a lot of us are discovering and tapping into new talents through this quarantine. They always say that, people always say that we wear multiple hats as air signs. I do feel like the same is for all of you out there that are air signs listening to this forecast for April. A lot of you are going to be tapping into hidden gifts, into, things that you normally wouldn't have done, like maybe like baking something. Maybe you're not the best baker, and then you follow a recipe to a T and you surprise yourself that you have that talent to make, bread or to bake cookies, etc. So there's a lot of that. I also feel like a lot of you are reflecting on the past again, reflecting on past decisions that you have made and what you have learned from that. It's almost like you are rewriting a part of your chapters, for the present and future, and making a lot of goals. I see a lot of you moving ahead with things in your life, decisions again, goals, booking a vacation after Rona goes away. And then I see a lot of you tapping into your intuition, not necessarily needing to seek out other people for guidance, because you're going to be very connected and getting messages. You hold the power this month, and Spirit wants to remind you, that this month as an air sign, that we hold the keys to our own destiny, and that we hold the keys in our relationships or our families, and we play a pivotal role in keeping balance and order for our families, if you're an air sign out there, and not to forget that. Also feeling like there's a lot of communication going back and forth with people. If you are single, a lot of you could be meeting someone even though you are in quarantine. How? Through social media, through dating apps. There is like a new fresh energy on the way for those of you that are single air signs that are looking for someone. Especially if you're the divine feminine. I think that, what I'm seeing here, that there are a lot of divine masculines that are rising up to the occasion together. A lot of you could be getting pregnant during this time if you're an air sign. There's a lot of that as well. And then a lot of you could also be, kind of longing to go back to the ocean, go back to the beaches, to go back to kind of like a spring break type of scenario, because maybe you missed out on your spring break situation. But there's a lot of those kind of energies and feelings. For the most part, I feel like this month is going to be one that's very powerful, very inspiring, and also is going to be one that makes you realize that you have a lot of potential in areas that you may not have considered for a career, or even in your home life, and how you handle those situations are going to be very differently going forward, because you now, have been quarantined, isolated, and it's made you think about a lot of things. So this is your horoscope for the month of April 2020. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you like this horoscope video, please give it a thumbs up. Also be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Psychic Medium Ray. And don't forget, all of my readings are on sale until, well, not all of my readings, but my psychic readings and my 12-month ahead yearly outlook readings are on sale until further notice. So if you need to book a reading, now is your time to book it. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing day or night wherever you are in the world. Bye.